Hello everyone, how are you all doing? I'm Alpha Somani and I'm back with chapter number 3 which we were doing and which I had left. We had done the first part of the chapter, an unpleasant happening, and it's written by Roald Dahl. So today we'll be doing the next half of the chapter. So up till now, what has happened in the chapter? There's a kid, there's a kid whose name is Roald Dahl. So Roald Dahl, who is the writer of the chapter, when he was a kid, what happens? He goes to his grandparents' house. Where was the grandparents' house? It was in Oslo, in Norway. So he goes to his grandparents' house, and there his mother tells him that they must visit a doctor. Why did the mother said so? The mother had a doubt that Roald Dahl, the kid, might have adenoids. So we know what adenoids are, right? Adenoids are like tonsils, which is a disease which happens in your throat, So Roald Dahl's mother suspected that he might have adenoids, so she wanted to take Roald Dahl to a doctor. So that's all about the chapter. The kid, he goes to the doctor with his mother. He's very frightened because, it's a doctor, right? And we all are frightened of doctors. So that's why his mother takes him to the doctor, and then let's see what happens. Firstly, we will discuss the assignment 1, which I had given you. I have posted the question and answers of assignment number 1 in your WhatsApp group. You can check those from there, and you have to write that and submit on Scholars ARP. Okay, so let's discuss the assignment then. Question number 1. How did the boy feel at the doctor's clinic? So how was the boy feeling? How was Roald Dahl feeling when he was at doctor's clinic? He was very frightened. He was very afraid. The boy was very worried when he visited the doctor. Question number 2. Where was the doctor's clinic and how did the place look? You know, right? Where's the doctor's clinic? It was at his grandparents' house. And where was the grandparents' house? It was in Oslo, in Norway. So doctor's clinic was in Oslo, in Norway. And how did the place look? How did the doctor's clinic look? So the doctor's clinic, it was very suspicious, right? Why? The doctor's clinic was why it was suspicious? Because there was instruments like needles, knives, and scissors lying around. There were so many instruments lying around. So that's why the boy was frightened of the clinic. And also, the boy was taken into a lift-like, into a dentist-like chair. And he was put into that chair. And where was this chair? It was in the treatment room. There was a nurse, there was a dentist chair, there were scissors lying around. So where the how the clinic looked like. Question number 3. With whom did the little child go at the clinic? With whom did he go to the clinic? He did not go with his grandmother or grandparents or his father. With whom did he go to the clinic? He goes to the clinic with his mother, right? So you have to complete your assignment and submit in Scholars ARP as soon as possible. And now we'll be doing the next half of the chapter. Let's start. I watched the doctor as he boiled some water in a metal mug. So up till now, we have the kid who is sitting in a chair, in a dentist-like chair, and the doctor is looking upon him. Okay, so the doctor is looking at his throat and his nose. So what did the kid do? He watched the doctor. He was looking at the doctor that what is he doing? What things are he doing? What activities he is doing? So he looked at the doctor, and what was the doctor doing? He was boiling some water in a metal mug. So he was preparing for all the things which he was going to do now. He was preparing, he was boiling water in a metal mug. He then placed a long, thin, shiny instrument in it. And what did the doctor now do then? He boiled a bowl of water and he put the shiny, long instrument in the water. Why do doctors do that? They do that to sanitize that. they do like they boil some instrument so that they can sanitize the instrument so that there are no germs on the instrument. Okay, so the doctor, he boiled some water and he put the long shiny instrument into the mug. I was not frightened or worried, as I was too young to realize that something out of the ordinary was going to happen. So up till now, the boy is not so frightened or worried. Why? Because he doesn't know what is going to happen. He was too young to realize that something out of the ordinary was going to happen. He was too young. He did not know what is he going to do with that shiny long instrument. He did not know why was he boiling the water. He was just sitting in the dentist's chair. Then a nurse entered. Then what happens? A nurse comes into the room. She tied a red rubber apron around my neck. So what does the nurse do? She ties a red rubber apron around his neck. She ties there's a patta, एक sort of patta होता है. She ties a apron around his neck. ठीक है? So apron जैसे होती है आप पहनते हो घर के अंदर, तो she ties the apron around his neck. It was very big. The apron was very big. So the kid is sitting into the dentist chair and an apron is tied around his neck with an apron on him. Then she held a curved bowl under my chin. So he's sitting into the chair and the nurse puts a bowl in under his chin. Okay, under his mouth she puts a bowl. And the doctor bent over me. Then what happens? The doctor, he bends over the child. कि देखो तुम्हारा क्या करना है. So he bends over the child, holding that long shiny instrument. The doctor is holding that long shiny instrument. And to this day, I can remember it perfectly. So up till now, so the boy doesn't know what is going to happen to him. So he has no idea of what the doctor is going to do with that long shiny instrument. But as soon as the doctor bends over the kid, he puts a strong, long, shiny instrument in his mouth. And from now on, the kid, he perfectly remembers that what did the doctor do to him. कि डॉक्टर ने ऐसा क्या किया कि बच्चे को अभी तक याद है कि उसने वो इंस्ट्रूमेंट के साथ उसके साथ क्या किया. It was as thick as a pencil. So the instrument which the doctor was holding, it was as thick as a pencil and it has many sides to it. So it was a long shiny instrument which the doctor was holding and he puts the instrument in his mouth. At the end, the metal became much thinner. So how did the instrument look like? It was a pencil-like thick instrument, and at the end it had a thinner metal. It had, and at the end it was very. It had a small blade at the end of it. So it was thick like a pencil, a long shiny metal instrument, and it had a blade at the end of it. And at the end, the metal became much thinner, and in this was set a metal blade at an angle. So there was a metal blade at the end of the instrument, and the doctor puts that in his mouth. So what did the doctor boil the water? The doctor boiled the water because he wanted to put that shiny instrument into the water. He wanted to sanitize. He wanted to kill all the germs on the instrument. What did he place in it? He placed a long, thin, shiny instrument in the water. What did the nurse tie around his neck? She tied a long red-colored apron around his neck. What does the child remember about the tools used by the doctor? So the child remembers that it was a pencil-like thick instrument and it has a blade on the end. So how did the instrument look? The blade was a centimeter long. It was a 1 centimeter long blade and it was very small, very sharp, and it was very shiny. So how did the instrument look? It was thick as a pencil and it was a centimeter long. It had a very small, little, sharp and shiny blade on the end of it. For example, suppose a doctor, a dentist is putting a blade in your mouth. How will you feel, right? You are a kid, so you are frightened. So that's why the kid was frightened. The doctor said in Norwegian. Norwegian is, where was the clinic? The clinic was in Oslo in Norway. So the language of Norway is called Norwegian. How do you pronounce it? Norwegian. Okay. For example, the language of America is called American English. Similarly, the language of Norway is called Norwegian. The doctor said in Norwegian, open your mouth. The doctor asks to the kid to open his mouth. I refused. The kid refused that, no, I'm not going to open my mouth. The kid refused as I thought he was going to do something to my teeth. Why did the kid refuse? Why did the kid say no to open his mouth? Because he thought the doctor was going to do something with his teeth. So he was afraid of it. And from my past experience, I knew that it would be painful. So when in past times, in earlier, when the kid went to some dentist or some doctor and he asked the kid to open the mouth, he did something with his teeth and he knew that it was painful in the past. So he also thought that it will be painful again. So he refused to open his mouth. That no, 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 I'm not going to open my mouth because you are going to hurt me. He was afraid. The doctor spoke again, very gently, and like an ass, I agreed to open my mouth. Doctor says again, बेटा मुंह खोलो, ठीक है? बहुत उन्होंने और प्यार से बोला उसको, ताकि he opens his mouth. Okay, so the doctor spoke very gently, very softly, that you open your mouth. And like an ass and like a donkey, he agrees to open his mouth. Okay, doctor, you were saying, so I will open my mouth. It won't take 2 seconds, he said. He says it won't take longer. In a minute, in a second, it will be finished. Whatever I'm going to do, the activity the doctor was going to do, the operation was doctor was going to do. The doctor says that it will be finished in a second. Okay. So when you go to a doctor and when he is going to put an injection on you, what does the doctor say? That you look around, beta, udhar dekho, and he puts an injection. Similarly, here also the doctor, he said, it won't take longer. आपको ज़्यादा देर नहीं लगेगी, but you know that it hurts, it's painful. The injection is painful. Similarly, when that long, shiny instrument having a blade was put into his mouth, that was also painful, right? That must be very painful for a kid. He was a very small kid. The author, Roald Dahl, was a very small kid when he visited the doctor. So that activity might be very painful because there was a blade put in his mouth. And now you will see why the blade was put into his mouth, to remove the adenoids he had, to remove the tonsil-like things which he had in his throat. And the rest part of the chapter we'll be doing in the next session, in the next lecture. And until now, you have to complete your assignment. The assignment is given at the end of your video. Also, I'll be posting the assignment on Scholars ERP and you have to submit the assignment there. I'll be sending you the answers of the assignment by the evening or by next day, but make sure that you find the answers on your own and you complete the assignment by then. And you try to find out the answers and then match your answers with the answer key which I sent to you. Okay? So just try to find out the answers which of these assignment and complete it and send it on Scholars ERP. I'll be waiting for your assignment. So thank you so much and we'll see you in the next lecture. Bye-bye then.